welcome back to episode 2 of Big Convo's I Am the Shame. As you see in the previous episode, part 1, we dealt with the cause, we dealt with the history and the journey of Jeannie. I find it quite traumatic, to be honest. I can't even imagine what it was like at the time for her siblings and the rest of the family to go through, living in silence and having to deal with the effects by themselves. Well, so we're back again, part 2. We're going to delve into the trauma side now and the effects with the help of our professional Marilia, who's going to, hopefully work her magic to delve a little bit deeper. So, without further ado, let's kick this show into effect because we don't waste time. Let's get straight to it. Got any questions you want to open with, Marina?
Absolutely. So, like Kamal had explained, we touched on some parts of your story in regards to the incest, understanding yourself as an 8-year-old, who your father really was. And then just having an overview, obviously, of your history, your mom, your sister, and the people that were involved around that time, and obviously his involvement in there, which was a bit, to be honest, I'm going to be quite honest with you, it was a bit confusing just to even get your head around who was who. But obviously, if you explained to us in the previous podcast, it's kind of, we have a little bit of understanding now what was going on at the time. But obviously, as inner child healing therapist, for me, it's always creating space for that child that went through the trauma. It's not so much about understanding the story, but understanding the story that you carry within yourself about what happened to you. Mm-hmm. Hence, obviously, the title of the book, I Am the Shame. And I want to just open up with that. You saying that you are the shame. Mm-hmm. How does it feel carrying that shame?
Heavy.
Okay.
You just feel like you're existing.
Okay.
Sometimes you feel alone. I tried to fit in with other family household that had loads of children because I was an only child. And not feeling love or my mum wasn't a hugger. She didn't caress me. She shouted more times still. And I tried to do things to try and please her so that she wouldn't be upset with me. There was times when my friends would call round and mum would embarrass me. Say I can't go out to play because I've got to wash all my underwear. That's politely saying it. Even when I started dating, she would tell me I couldn't go out. She'd control my goings in and coming out, even though I was working. I had a car. I was paying my share of the bills. So that to me was very traumatic. But again, at the same time, I didn't know I was going through trauma. I just thought this is real life. This is the hand that you dealt. I didn't see it as historical because of my father and my mum's melt. I just tried to do the best I could to just. Sometimes I'd like to be behind the scenes, not be seen. Yes, yeah. It's very, when I look back and now know everything, I got lost. My childhood was buried. That's the best way I can put it, buried.
Did you feel you had to always prove your worth?
Yeah. And even trying to prove my worth, I didn't feel worthy.
Yeah.
I definitely had imposter syndrome, and definitely limited beliefs. from in school. I always wanted to do law, and I remember my careers advisor saying, not you, you do better doing secretarial work. And so that's what I went off to do. I started to work in admin, trained up, and and then one lovely lady was my line manager. She's passed now. I'd had my daughter by this stage, and I came back to work, and then she said, "You're not yourself," and I said, "It's a job." And then she says, "What would you like to do?" So I said, "I've always wanted to do law," and so she encouraged me. She encouraged me and helped me till I left, and then went on my career journey by going to college, then to uni, and so on and so forth. But that was me just still existing from the real trauma. And that for me was my 12-year-old self.
Don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
The 12-year-old self.
Yeah. I might pause sometimes because I'm trying
That's okay.
not to get upset. So, we'd come back from Jamaica, and my mum wasn't living with us then, so I still lived with my nan, and my mum lived elsewhere. And she'd struck up a relationship with this man, and it turned out that they ended up coming to live with us. So we had a 2-bedroom house. I had my own room, and my nan had hers. And I don't know how it was decided that they would move in with us. So he moved in as well.
Okay.
And when we came back from Jamaica, so it wasn't so long after we'd come back from Jamaica, and I was still 12 at the time. And he started off by being, because he knew Mum was a bit funny towards me. I think he utilised that to manipulate me.
Yes.
And he said, he used to give me pocket change, and then he said, "Well, don't tell your mum, because your mum will be angry." So didn't tell mum. And then there was just one day I was going across the landing. So upstairs, as you got the stairs, main bedroom at the front is there. You go across the landing, mum and his room, and then you got the bathroom, the far side. So the one day I was coming out of the bathroom, and he says to me, "You got some fluff or something on your top?" And that's when it started. So in that moment, when he wiping the fluff off, I'm thinking, and then I thought,
It felt weird.
felt weird, but then I thought, no.
Yeah.
And I left it from there. And then things got progressively worse. I'd go downstairs, and because Mum worked different shifts, so some mornings she'd be gone before I got up, and I'd be in bed by the time she comes in, because she did late shifts, early shifts. And he tried to, he didn't try, he did succeed. Started off by grooming me, then, getting me to do things, and then he actually did rape me, and on intervals. It wasn't just a one time. I remember being scared to come down the stairs because I know he'd be there, so I'd stay upstairs in the bedroom with my nan, that's my great nan, because she either was upstairs in the room sewing or downstairs in the kitchen cooking. So I tried to be in the two places where but you have to remember, I have to leave to go to school, I have to get up to make breakfast, I have to do certain things in the, like get your water and stuff like that in the kitchen. And it just lay me. And
how old was he, sorry?
how old was he? I don't know.
How did it feel for you? Especially obviously knowing what happened to your sister, of not understanding at the time what that was.
Yeah, I didn't even understand that at that time. That part just didn't come into my mind. I just thought, how am I going to talk up? How am I going to tell what's happening to me? But then he'd say, if you tell, they're not going to believe you.
Of course.
And this wasn't the first time, because one of my mum's other boyfriends when I was still in the home, but I was coming out for
Visits.
yeah, because you have to, like, before you get your forever home, social services still involved, seeing if this is a safe environment for you to be in.
Okay.
And mum didn't live with my nan, even though my great nan was going to be my legal guardian, so she had signed to take me. And so I was able to still go and stay with my mum and her boyfriend. He was an abuser. He used to abuse her physically. And the one time I'd gone for the weekend before going back, he brushed over my blood. But you imagine I'm 6 at that age, so I've got no development.
Of course,
And
you're still a child.
I never said anything, and then I blocked it.
But he was testing the boundaries.
But it's only when I started to go to therapy and hypnotherapy that it came back again. And my realization for that is that I wasn't out of the home yet, the children's home. And if I'd said anything, they probably wouldn't let me come and stay in my forever home. So I kind of like held that one. Then this one, this is a different boyfriend.
So that was
when I was 6. Yeah, that was a previous boyfriend. And then there was a boyfriend when I was 12. And I remember when she introduced me to him first, she took me to his flat. And they were lounging on the sofa and we were watching TV, but he had his hand down her top and just looking at me.
Child as well.
Looking at me, and I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
Then,
and your mum didn't.
I don't even know.
For a second. Go on.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
But this is just what happened, and I just thought, and then I thought, because mum's happy, don't say anything, you know. So I think that would have been the very first grooming element that he had done. But as I said, as a child, I still don't pick up on it. So as I get older, and plus because of the profession I went through, when you hear the stories, you think, my God, that was me.
That was you,
You know? And when one time, there was a one time, so I started stealing money out of, because they had some jars with like coinage in it. So I started stealing the coinage out of the jars. And the one day pulled me up and he said, you think I know that you're not taking my money? I know you're taking my money. And then I got brazen. I thought, and I'll tell mum what you've been doing to me. The man just ragged me up and said, she's never going to believe you over me. And you know what? She never did.
Because he had them wrapped around his finger.
She never did.
You told your mum?
No, my nan caught him.
She couldn't catch him.
Raping me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What happened there?
She banished him out the house, and then she says,
how old was you then, sorry?
12.
12, okay,
12.
when you told. So your nan came to the house?
No, she's living
She
upstairs.
was upstairs. Okay.
Your great
So he was
grandmother.
doing this while everyone was in the house?
Yeah, he had, because she's timely. Nan was timely. She'd either get up, gone downstairs, had her breakfast, everything, and then gone. So I'd be like this with her, like a yo-yo. Or she said, go and get something. But I'd be fretting because it's downstairs and he's about. And like, when I'm going to school in the mornings, he'd try and pull me up to him. And then there was times after the rapes, there was times I just never went to school. And I think you asked me about what was school life like. Back then, schools weren't trauma informed. And funny enough, my mum kept my school record for that year. And I was in school for 16 weeks out of 39. Nobody knows. School never picked up on it. Nobody never picked up on it.
They don't, do they?
But I was second from the top A student when I started.
And then dropped.
And by the following year, I was the second from the bottom, and nobody picked up on it. So I was showing my girls, and they were laughing and saying, Mum, you can't say anything to us because look at your record, it ain't perfect. And then it just dawned on me, come back to me. That was the year.
That was the reason.
That was the year.
Can I just ask you one question, sorry? So your nan caught him.
Banished him from the
She banished
house.
him because for me, what I'm picking up here is like, these type of men are being attracted to the family.
Not just the family, but women attracted to this type of men because they have unresolved trauma. Because the body keeps the score, when they are in front of men that are abusive, it feels like home because they already had that experience before. So they're reacting the same scenario from home. And that's what generational trauma means. If you don't heal, you are still in that trappment, even when you're out of it. So they're still recreating that home with different people.
Okay, so
Does that make sense?
Total sense. So that brings me to the question, and this is, I don't say it's the wrong way at all.
Yeah.
But based on what Maria just said, before you find your current husband, did you find any partners who had these same characteristics?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Because I chose
To do the work.
that's not going to be me.
Yeah.
And I chose that if I have children, that's not going to happen to them.
Mhm.
I chose.
What characteristics did you look for?
I didn't look for any characteristics as such, but I know if things aren't straight, I'm out.
Mhm.
And besides, I only really was with 3 men, realistically.
Mhm.
I could say later on in life, I had my teenage boyfriend, but that then fizzled. Then I had my daughter, my eldest daughter's father, I was with him. Then that fizzled. And then I was with somebody else. But then that lasted a while. But because I was studying, my books was my man.
Good for you.
And that person was known as the after dark man. He could not be in my vicinity, in my household, during the daytime with my child there. So I chose to make that difference.
Yeah.
But going back to my trauma,
Experience.
yeah, when Nanny banished him from the house, she said, we're going to have to wait till your mum comes home to see what's going to happen here.
Mm.
And then when mum came home, mum says, I must have been up to the job.
Yeah.
I enticed him to do what he did to me.
I've heard that a couple of times. You know?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard that a few times.
I enticed him. So from then,
How did it feel to hear that?
even worse than the trauma that I'd just gone through, being abused, being raped, that just was awful. And then I just remember internalizing it and we never talked about it again.
Do you think that leads into them triggers that you feel now sometimes when you say try to deal with that?
Yeah,
Which triggers?
sometimes I just can't be in the same place. And it's not for no loss of love or feelings of that. My body just doesn't allow me to do that.
What do you mean? Sorry, can you just?
Okay, so, like I could say, I'm coming over to see you, we sit down, chat and chill for a bit. Sometimes, even if I want to, my body just won't allow me to do
Is that
that.
like a different score that you're talking about then? Because you say your body keeps the score. Is that like a score that you got with your mum then? In some
No, the trauma itself. The trauma itself. It's
It's like
all
a trigger, so your body feels all the emotions attached to a situation that happens to you, but your brain, even though your brain has understood it and is moved on, but the body's still trapped there. So it will trigger, say for instance, like in a situation, her body will just go into either like panic mode, anxieties, and it's kind of fight or fight where you don't even know why you're feeling that way, but the body's feeling it. The body is sensing something, it doesn't know why. The same thing is with the situation with her mom attracting the same men. Her body still understands that intense environment, hence why she's still pulled towards those same kind of men, but she thinks that's love, but that's actually pain that she suffered from the past and she hasn't healed from it. Does that make sense? So it's if you don't heal the body, the brain can heal, but the body still stays trapped in those places, and that's what she's trying to say.
So then, question. It would seem that where your mum's concerned, and obviously there's not total healing there.
No, obviously not.
No. How do you feel about that then, considering?
I feel sad. I feel sad about that because I know my mum was a victim and a survivor herself, and as bad as my trauma was and my abuse, hers must have been tenfold, because imagine having to carry the child, and then, so I get that and I understand that now, and, I love her for that, for what she went through in terms of keeping me. But because I didn't know as the child and was struggling to feel the love, the understanding, the warmth, the attachment, I didn't have that. It was detached. And yeah, it's very difficult to put into words, but I just know my body doesn't allow me to freely free up myself to my mum. And I think that's because of childhood and the treatment at that time.
Of course.
And so my body's, I forgot the word, what they called it, dissociation?
Yeah, dissociation.
Dissociation.
Disconnected.
Yeah. That's what's happened. And I work with that every day, you know. I work with that, yeah. Because we talk every day, more or less, but I just don't go around and being present as much as I should be. And it's sad because I always think that, you know, nobody's got tomorrow, you know, and how will I feel if anything happens and it's the, you know, we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
But again, I know this, but my body doesn't allow me to.
I have another question for you. It's about obviously your relationship with your mom and how she treated you. And it's basically, did you ever like understood that the hatred and the resentment that she had towards you wasn't because of you, but it was because she internalized those feelings towards your father, but she couldn't take it out on him, so you were like the person that she, every time she looked at you, she felt that, but it wasn't you, the child. Does that make sense?
Totally understand that. And that's why I said that, you know, over the last, say, 20 plus years, we've been closer than we've ever been.
Yeah.
And I think I remember even into my 20s, I was still angry with her. And I think there was a time I said something, like snap back at her. And I didn't recall it, but my mum remembered it. And my ex-partner at the time remembered it as well. Because my eldest was a baby at the time. And I don't recall what it is, what had happened, but I snapped. I snapped at her with anger, with venom, if you couldn't say, because I'm no longer the child. I'm an adult too, and I'm a mother too. But I understand from her own point of view, it must have been really, really difficult for her. And I, you know, in one of my chapters, it's called Forgiveness. And it's not that I forgive my mum. I forgive myself for that anger and that hurt and allowing it to live within me for so long. But my body, and I come back to it, my body is taking the score. It's protecting me lock, stock and barrel. So anything and anybody who comes into my life and they're not for me, I'm out.
Good for you. That's your survival mechanism rather than staying in full mode. How you flee is the safest.
And someone could say to me, well, how can you stay in that situation? That could be said to anybody.
Because they're going to fawn, and fawn normally means when you're in a situation of danger, you adapt to the situation so that it's kind of like an animal that plays dead. So they have to play dead so they don't die. So a lot of the victims of domestic abuse or sexual abuse, instead of fighting because they know that person is trying to fight them, they're stronger than them, so they will practically get more abused and more hurt. So they're going to fawning mode, which means just kind of stick it, play dead, head down. They don't actually try to get out of that situation and they stay to survive. So it's a survival mechanism, but it's actually not surviving, you're just existing, which is quite sad. And I think the reason why I'm explaining it, the whole purpose of discussing what the trauma is to create awareness for the victims to understand where they are in these situations. And not just because they're staying doesn't mean that they're weak. It just means that they don't understand what's happening with their bodies and how to come out of that situation. And it takes so many times trying to come out of it to finally break free. So even if they are still trapped right now, it's just still trying to get help, but just speaking to someone that they feel that they can trust.
This is it. And for years I didn't. I don't think I've ever told anybody the fullness of what happened to me or how I feel or how I felt until I wrote my book. Because I've got friends who I've been friends with from we were 6 years old, 11 years old, right up to now. And it's only this year they know my story.
And that's a long time carrying that.
Yeah. So from 12 to 54, that's how many years.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, like, to hear that, because that is, I understand trauma and how painful it is. And to carry that for so many years, not having people to trust to share that with, like, you are badass as a person to be able to still be so strong and influential and build a career and build a life that you have. Seriously.
You know, for me going on to write the book and then to set up my own organisation to support survivors,
Seriously.
by hearing my story, I do hope that they too can live a fruitful life for me.
There's hope.
My many years have gone behind me, and so I don't know how much I have left, but all what's before me now, I want to make that difference. If it's one person, two person, it's somebody. And I want to target more like, say, 18s to 25-year-olds. And the reason why I say that is at 25, I'd already had my daughter, but I was still living with my own trauma. So my eldest daughter writes her own passage in the book as well to say, what was it like living with a mother like me? So she identifies now the traumas, but she didn't realise herself because of how I was, because of my own traumas, you know, and it's made me and my girls come closer together, but they didn't get it either, what was happening to me, because I didn't get what was happening to me. My mother didn't get what was happening to her.
Exactly. So it's just passed down, but you came in as that person that is breaking all of that trauma.
Yeah.
So now that obviously we got to this phase, and obviously I even said to the guys already about the question, isn't it? Like, we all want to know what this question is, but obviously we're not going to ask you. We're going to guess for all the questions that we have. But I think in my head right now, the only question I have for you, after all the experience and the healing and understanding what happened to you and coming out of the end, do you still feel like you're the shame?
No longer the shame. I feel my book has helped me to liberate myself. I am definitely no longer the shame. The shame no longer lives here. The stigma has gone. For me, it's about awareness. I know I was not alone, and I am not alone, and there's people out there who aren't alone. So,
do you think that work that you do with Planting Share or Self helps you in your own
in my own journey as well, especially with the walk and talks?
Yeah.
You know, I have ladies that come on from different counties, different countries, to be honest, as well. That's really good. And we just connect and we walk and we talk, and we have sessions where they release what they want to say or not say on that particular call, and I don't force them to. When they're ready, they can start on, just like how it was for me. I want to share my own experience with somebody else. It may not work for someone else in terms of what they're going through, but it may start to get them to think about coming outside of the box and getting that help and support. You know, I'm a coach, I'm not a therapist, and I'm not a counsellor, but it's for them to visualise where the root lied. For me, it was my 6-year-old self, but putting pen to page, I then realised it was from the womb. It started for me.
Of course it did, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's your relationship with your family now?
When you say family, in terms of which ones?
Okay, so your not your immediate family, your children, your extended, but more the family that came down in the minibus.
A lot of them have deceased, my dear.
Okay, it's unfortunate. Sorry to hear that.
So it's other family relatives and members. We're fine, but I've gone on this journey on my own. So I've kind of like, and even when I was studying, I kind of like went on my own because I needed to get to where I needed to get to, and I couldn't have certain influences in my life or negativity in my life. So I chose, here's the word again, I chose to separate myself from certain people, certain situations, and just focus upon what I wanted to be, even though I still didn't feel worthy of being that person. I thought, I'm gonna die trying. Is it 50 Cent or someone said that? I'm gonna die trying, you know?
Rich or die trying.
Yeah, I don't know about the richness though, but you know, yeah,
Rich
I'm
in your
trying.
mind.
Rich, you can't get a better wealth than your mind. Yeah, and just when I walk and talk with those women, when I do the plant and shares, and when I do the retreats, it's healing across the board. It's not just for them, it's also for me, because they're reinstalling in me that healing. If they can walk away feeling brighter, I know I've done my job.
So Maria was asking, obviously you brought it back to your 6-year-old self here. Did you tell us what you think? I mean, it might sound obvious to anyone that's listening, but did you say to us what you think your 6-year-old self actually needed, and have you learned to give that to yourself?
Good question.
Yeah, it's in the book. Because I start off with saying I'd go to find my 6-year-old self because I want to go and tell her all the things she dreamt about. We did it.
Okay.
Amen.
Okay.
And then she then writes me a love note. The final chapter in the book is called My Love Note. Hey you, it's me, your youthful 6-year-old inner self. You have fought hard to find me and to heal our wounded hearts. I no longer live negatively tucked away in our subconsciousness, nor in that dark corner of our mind. It was you and not I who became our cornerstone. It was you who showed me our mapped out purpose. You and I, we had to learn the hard way through our life's adversities. I know for you, that road hasn't been easy, but I'm so proud of you and the woman you have become. You became everything that I wanted to be when I grew up. You have presented with a majestic, non-materialistic and opportunistic power of experience. You developed resilience and personal growth. You overcame obstacles and embraced change. You have learned that by loving yourself first, this has allowed you to love others from an overflowing cup that you yourself have personally beyond capacity filled. You have taught me that love is not suppressed, but that love is supreme. Love is composed, and that love is kind. Your support, confidence, and your aspiration has successfully led to my recovery. I am so thankful that you have found me and have shown me the love I have needed to bring me back into the light. For that, I want you to know I will forever be grateful to you, and I love you.
You can love yourself after all this time.
I just kiss myself, say yes, I am worthy, I am valuable, I am peace, and I am love.
And about the voice. For that change, and obviously for the things you went through. Because if you didn't speak up, if you didn't write the story, there would be a little girl still stuck in that place.
Yes.
And you gave her a voice to speak up, and now you are also the voice to many other little girls that are still in those places, whether they're in the adult self version, but inside there's still that little girl that didn't have a voice or someone to speak up for them. So yeah.
And this is what I'm just sitting here thinking of, like the thousands, probably hundreds of thousands
of women
and boys
and men.
There's boys that go to this
you
as
hear
well.
about this type of abuse in homes, in children's homes, in schools, even in like real affluent like private schools. You hear about it a lot.
Crazy.
I heard about it today, in fact.
Doesn't discriminate, does it?
No,
not at all.
Not at all. So, a lot of people are living in silence, and every show we do, it just shows me you can't judge anyone. You don't know anyone's journey.
So
You don't know what anyone's been going through. So
absolutely.
I'm hoping this is building that awareness and building the confidence that you're not alone.
100%.
And when we finish, obviously, we'll get the Actually, you want to plug it now? This walk and talk.
Okay, so it's where you come on the phone with me. If you live local to where I am, if you connect with me and you live local to where I am, I will meet with you and we go find a safe space where we walk around like a lake, around the park, and we just talk and just, you know, I'll share a little bit with you, you share a little bit with me. What do you want to have happen? How do you want to try to release that burden? Do you want to talk about it more, or do you want to, because I've got collaborating people like therapists and counsellors that I can refer them to. So if I feel that their trauma is more deep-rooted and needs more of a professional approach, then I will signpost them or refer them. If they're happy to stay with me, they can stay with me. When I do plant and share is about like planting a seed, a real seed. It could be a plant, it could be a flower, it could be a vegetable. We plant that together and you teach them how to nurture that plant, to watch it come from a seed to a seedling, and that's to reflect on yourself. You're now going through a new journey for yourself because you've already released yourself from the trauma, but it doesn't end there. Trauma is it's rooted deep down, and trying to lift that root out, it's not a day thing, it's not a week, a month, it could be years, but it could be a lifetime.
Absolutely.
But if you get the help you need or speak to someone, you can cope with it. You can manage. There's many coping skills that you can do with it.
Lots of different therapies.
Breathing, exercises.
EMDR,
you know. So I run that as well, and I do workshops that I talk about. Like the first one was about trauma, living with anxiety, and then talked about people, how they have anxiety, what forms anxiety can come in, and then the other one was anxiety coping skills. So the things that you can do to cope with anxiety, like I talked about the breathing, the journaling is my thing. The page doesn't criticize. The page only gives you reflection to see how you are doing. So you don't have to journal every day, but you know, so a lot of my ladies, I say to them, look, get yourself a book, or I'll send them a book, and then they can just start to journal. Just talk about how you're feeling today. Talk to yourself, because it starts with you. The organisation is called Self. So everything starts with you. If you can, you know, tap into yourself, your inner child, and then you can start to find out and depict what's been tormenting you, what are your go-to, like a lot of people self-soothe, so they might turn to drugs, they may turn to alcohol, they may slash, they may, you know, some people use everything. So that's another, you know, talking on this chapter, that's another thing. That's like, it's not an animalistic way of dealing with things. That's more a mental, and in the sense of what's traumas behind that to make you self-soothe. That why is that need there? So again, so even if you're working with perpetrators, you know, even all right then, when I work with perpetrators, and you have to say they're going to get sentenced anyway. They've been convicted. They're now waiting for sentence. You know, you have to do a mitigation for that person. So you need to go back to the root, from their childhood, where they've come through, and and sometimes what comes out on the page is very dark. So even perpetrators need therapy as well. They need some form of support, and I'm not taking up for them. I'm just being real.
Well, this is what I asked earlier. What did you know the background of?
I would have known some of the backgrounds because I'm the defense lawyer. So of my father.
Yes.
No, because none of them really talked about it. The only person I've got more insight from is one of my cousins, his niece, his brother's daughter. She's the one that kind of like filled some gaps for me as well. Saying what? So basically about with my auntie who passed, because when she came to England, she was actually staying with them as well. She told me about the time when they found out that we'd gone into the home. She'd come with her parents to see us in the home, but I don't remember seeing her in the first home. I remember seeing her in the second home. So that's what I'm telling you, my memory is kind of blocked. So she was the one that filled in. So I was able to put that in the book because she gave me the resources for that. And it's just my sisters, who's my stepmom's, because my dad married when I was about 13.
So
and so I've got more siblings. I've got two siblings that follow me, and then I've got another two siblings, but they're from family as well.
They're from family as well.
They're from family as well.
Okay, this is blood family.
Yeah. But then father said that no, it's not blood family, so that's all right. But that person was of age of consent. So we talk about consent as well, and then talk about younger age or under the age of 16. There's no consent. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. And for a very long time, I didn't accept my younger sisters. But when reality bites, we're all gifts from God.
Why did you accept them?
Because of how they came to be as well. Similar, but with age of consent. But I was going to say yes, is when my father, I think, was very calculated. He never troubled them until they were the age of consent. And back the law was 19... 14. It was 14 for like indecency assault, but it was 13 for like rape as such. So obviously they're over the age. So that's how I think he got away with it.
What he was doing wasn't kind of, he was, in a way he was,
that's right,
relieving something, but he was calculated about it.
And then the law changed in 2003 to the age of 16. So in that time, in my book I talk about crime and punishment as well.
2003
it changed to age 16.
16. I'm sure when I was at school it was 16. In my mind it's always been 16.
No, it's 13 and 14. The 56 Act and the 60 Act.
Oh wow!
I've always known it as 16.
Insane, isn't it?
No.
They raised it.
Can I ask you a couple of questions? I don't know how you feel about these. Firstly, did you go to your dad's funeral?
I did.
Okay. And secondly, how did you feel when he passed?
I didn't really feel anything because just before he.
How old was you? Sorry, when he passed away?
About 32, 33, in my 30s.
Did you get to talk to him about any of this?
No, I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to him.
Because you're there, what happened? You can give us the story about when he passed, because that's obviously coming to us.
When he passed.
Well, not even just when he passed, because he went to hospital and stuff, because his story did continue. It didn't just end where we.
Because he was getting lower.
What did he die of?
Cancer.
Okay.
And so my sister rang me and said, "Oh, dad's low," and he's like, so my immediate reaction was, bury him and then tell me. But then I happened to be going to court on the day that before he passed, and something just said to me, do you know what, when I finish court, go and find my sister and let's go up there. But then when I got up there, she was saying that she wasn't there initially, but then when she came, she said, I want you to go, we'll go together. So we're supposed to go another day, and by then it was too late. It passed, and that was it. I went to the funeral because I think it was a decent thing to do, but I didn't mourn him as how maybe my younger two sisters would have mourned him, because when he passed, they would have been around the same age as I was when.
So they still had.
So they would have still had that.
So they know. Do they know now?
They know now. They weren't happy at first when I wrote the book, But I said to them, it's my journey, but I will compromise. And we did like revamp some of the wording. And and on top of all of that, my book is in memory of my sister that follows me because she passed last year. And in her passing, we've become, me and my other siblings have become closer, but it's on the back of tragedy.
Of course.
Was that sister abused as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
It was the passing of her sister, wasn't
So
it?
the sister that passed, who was her mother?
Her mother was the one he was married to.
Okay.
No, okay.
Did she guess then she had like a pretty normal upbringing?
Not really,
Or
was
not?
it?
Because it doesn't seem like she experienced anything that you saw, anything that you saw.
No, because Dad was away for a
In
while
Jamaica, right?
in Jamaica for a while, and that's when my other two sisters were born. Whilst he was still married to my stepmom.
Oh, okay.
So then there's more siblings coming along the line
And they
here.
were relatives as well. Do you think there was grooming then? And obviously,
Nah, I don't
no?
think so at
You
all.
just-
And this
But
is-
She just wanted.
she
Just loved him.
was of mind.
Okay.
And
She was of mind,
he
sound mind.
He was married here, started a new family in Jamaica.
Yeah, and then sent for them to come here. Because what had happened is my father left and said he was going to go and see he was going to see his well, he calls her aunt, but it was a lady who raised him over there in Jamaica, and he said that she's at death's door and that he would be he wanted to be there, you know, to the end. And 6 months later she still didn't pass. And 8 years later she still didn't pass. And in that time I had 2 more siblings. And my stepmom was over here with my other 2 siblings, you know, struggling, doing 2 or 3 jobs to keep the house while he was over there doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's trauma for the whole family,
Yeah,
not
of course,
just,
of course.
you know, but they didn't fully know about my trauma until now.
Yeah.
I kind of like knew about their trauma because I think they don't want it to be shared because it's stigma again, isn't it? But what I'm trying to say to everybody is stigma is only if you make it stigma.
Absolutely.
And it's in the
You
mind
need
a
to
lot of the
take
time.
charge.
Ownership of it.
Yes.
Because you can change the story, the meanings of whatever happens to you.
Well,
you
I
can continue
have.
to be a victim, or you can be the victor of your own story.
Yeah.
And I think that's very much, I think, what you're doing is saying to them, yes, this happened to me. I was a victim. I, you know, am a seed of a lot of shame, but I choose not to be ashamed anymore. I choose to be the voice that actually creates change.
Exactly.
So we can give different meanings, or we can stay stuck
Yeah.
in that cycle.
Yeah.
We can come out of it on top of that situation.
Yeah.
So
So you were in that cycle then when you were succeeding as a solicitor, but you were feeling what you were feeling inside.
Internalized.
So it wasn't.
So I was a fearful achiever, but my anxiety got a hold of me a lot. So like now I can go out and speak in public, whereas I'm an officer of the court and I'm going to court and I'm speaking, but inside nobody sees it. But inside, I should be standing up here. I'm not worthy to be up here.
because the voice.
And I'd be like, the minute I stand up, I can't wait to sit down. And I'm like, or if I know I'm going to court or I'm going to have to present a case, I'd be up from about 4 o'clock and I'd be like, oh Lord, I'd be like, my anxiety level would be, because you got to wear that mask, and is that mask going to be ripped up and shows your vulnerability?
Absolutely.
And I at the time thought, I can't live with vulnerability. That would just totally strip away everything that I built
So you
up.
built this strong
Yeah.
woman who overachieves, who has become a
And that's
lawyer.
right,
Did she
overachieving.
kind of drive you a little bit then? Is this kind of like all this madness, has it actually driven you to get to where you got to?
That's the shadow self, which is powerful, isn't it?
And you use it as fuel. Do you think if
Not now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, now, because I feel so liberated. Anybody can, like you said, you're going to ask me some tough questions. I can handle them.
Yeah.
But if it was before, when I'm like, ooh, processing it, someone would say to me, oh, what do you do for a living? I'm a solicitor. I'd be like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell anybody because I'm not worthy of this title or to be in this profession. And it's been, because I've practiced for 21 years doing crime, and I no longer do that now, but I do another area of law. But I've lived in that 21 years of moment in my professionalism still being fearful, internalized.
Absolutely.
Um,
Because the trauma was still in
the trauma's still there,
Yeah.
and then you put on the mask, and then you just, I'm this character, I'm not
Yeah.
me, but you need to be your authentic self all along.
But do you,
all along,
but do you
yeah.
agree though that that wasn't the mask? That is really who you are, because there's like when we're growing up in dysfunctional environments, there's the version of us who's the vulnerable child, which was obviously the fear that you keep feeling within yourself, the vulnerable child. But then there's the shadow self that gets created by the vulnerable child, which we call the shadow self, right? Which is a solicitor, the powerful, strong woman that you have today. But the reason why she felt like she was a mask, it was because the vulnerable child was still in pain.
Yeah.
So the shadow self, she comes forward, and I have one. Mine is a freaking savage. She will chop people's head off. Like, she's crazy, right? But she comes forward to protect the child.
Yes.
Right? So even though it feels, I'm explaining this obviously for everyone, because I have to understand that there's two versions of us that always live within ourselves all the time. So like, even though you felt like she was a mask, it wasn't a mask. That is who you are as well.
Yeah.
That the little child created that version of you.
Yes, she did.
She needed a hero.
She did.
She needed someone that was strong, that would take her out of it. But no one was doing that. So she created that.
Yeah.
Is that making sense now?
Totally.
So now this version of you, what happens is now you integrated with
We're
her.
together now.
So now
She
the
come
inner
and found
child
me,
and the
here we
shadow
are.
self, they're integrating into one. So now you're able to stand in your true form, being the dark
and
and the
speak
light,
my truth
and speak
for
your
both
truth.
of us,
So
and for my
it's
mum,
beautiful.
and for my family, so that we are no longer the shame,
Breaking
that we
the
are
curses.
queens.
Breaking that
Breaking them
generation
curses.
curse.
It's broken.
100%.
Absolutely.
And for your daughters and for their
Exactly. So
daughters and
this organisation Self, which is supporting, empowering and liberating for survivors.
Absolutely.
That's for my children.
I love that.
Me and my eldest daughter, the CEOs of here. And my one daughter's at uni and she says, "Oh, Mum, I can't read this." And I said, "Girl, you don't need to read it now. When you're ready, you know it's there." And my dedication is to them, to let them navigate the world as they know it. But they've passed, for me, the age of vulnerability, and I've laid the best foundation I could lay for them. And I know they're going to, soar from here. And as I said, it's a family thing. So Mum gets involved as well. And we do retreats. I forgot to say, we do retreats for healing.
I am definitely coming to them.
And, the energy in that room.
just women.
Just women. Women of colour. And the reason why I say women of colour, because culturally is what we've gone through. And it's different. And so we're not trying to single out other women, because I have loads of allies. But this is coming from a deep-rooted cultural background where shame, stigma should not be in the household. If it's in the household, you're out.
Because we were saying before,
Get you out, so that we don't face
we
it.
grew up with all these sayings, what happens in this house stays
Stays
in this
in the
house,
house.
these four walls.
Children must be seen
And not
and not heard.
Shutting you down from little, isn't it?
When it says about children should be seen and not heard, you all well know that when your parents and their friends are in the household and they're talking, you can still hear what they're saying. So this is where I come back to about family and friends knowing about our shame and the treatment that I endorsed. Nobody stepped in. Nobody stepped in. They did call the police. My mum did call the police. Because I go back, one thing I didn't share with you is Mum, what happened to me and I internalized it, then my dad and my stepmom got married, and then she had my sister, the one who passed. So I was always going, and they always used to send me, despite knowing the history and the mentality of my father, they always used to send me Easter, Christmas, summer holidays. I'd still go down there, but remember, I'm not age of consent. Now I understand, but that's still, I would never have sent mine.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Because he's obviously got a problem.
There's a tendency there. So anyway, long story short, my same cousin I was telling you about that gave me an insight of what happened when we were in the home. She had come up to stay with my father and my stepmom with her little girl, because she had a little girl. And so I happened to go the same time. And prior to that, I'm going to come back to that. Prior to that, my nan's very religious and church. So we used to have prayer meeting in the house. And one of the senior leaders ladies told, because they saw a picture of my abuser on the mantelpiece. And this is after he's been banished from the house,
Oh,
remember,
wow.
but
And he's got
the
pictures.
picture's still in the mantelpiece because mum still continued
She's
to
still
see
with him?
him
Oh,
outside the
okay,
house.
wow.
So
Wow.
these are the traumas
It's so deep.
that I'm
So
living
deep.
with, right? So she must have told my nan that that man is not a good man, and she left it at that. So there was an opportunity there. If anything could have been
Support
said,
you again.
nothing. Then another time, the lady's granddaughter came, and then she called me into the back room, and she said to me, "See the man on the picture there, has he ever done anything or touched you in any way?" And I was frightened, you know, when you got like that fright freeze, my whole body was in some convulsion, and I couldn't talk. And then she said, "Because he did it to me too." So there's another
person
to talk about it.
Yeah.
And she said, "Andy was with her mum before
At the
my
time,
mum."
wow.
Wow, so he was a thing.
He was married to her mum.
That's his MO. That's his most. That's how he
So
moves.
that's
He gets in there and then
with
he
the
obviously
women.
does what he does with the children.
Kids.
So
It's horrible.
when that happened, they still never said anything. And time went again, so I re-internalized what had happened to me because there was nobody else to talk
Compounding
to.
trauma, isn't it?
So
Building on top of what's previously happened.
yeah. So by this time, I'm now 14, and my cousin, as I said, came to stay with my dad and my stepmom and my sister who was just born, and I came over as well. And I don't know what it was. I told her. So she then told my stepmom, and my stepmom then told my dad, and then my dad phoned my mum and said, "How can you make this happen to her? She's not coming back here. She's stopping here with us for good."
That's crazy.
My mum must have took Concord because her and my nan were at the house like that. And remember, it's 2 different counties. And they fought. And my dad knocked his hand on the radiator and had to have like a steel plate put in it later. But she took me back home. In fact, she called the police and they went down to the police station, and she was saying they've got all these records of when this happened to her for them to come and sort it out, and still nothing. But mum, they took me home, and I remember mum just being so angry with me in the car. So what did I do? Went back in and internalized it again.
That's crazy.
So from then until, say, in my 20s, I did tell a friend. I didn't go into the deepness of it because I didn't fully understand it myself, but I did go into some of the things. And then I just internalized it again. So it wasn't until I wrote the book, everything came out. The chapter on my 12-year-old self, I had to go into therapy for 1 year to write that chapter because it just, where could you start with that?
Lots of process.
How did
Too
your
much process.
dad even have the cheek to say anything about anyone else?
This is
given
because
what
that's
he's
the
done?
person he was.
That's very audacious,
He was
isn't it?
very
That's a narcissist, wasn't it?
blatant.
Yeah.
He was just like nobody. He was
He does
like
what he wants to do.
invincible. Nobody
Yeah.
could
No one
touch him.
Untouchable.
Yeah,
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
It's going to be, again, in depth, but that's what I
that's
do.
fine.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Okay.
don't apologize. This is what we're talking about. The truth, innit?
Yeah. So when you wrote the chapter about forgiveness in your book,
Yeah.
and I know obviously you said you only had therapy for like a year, and it's a lot to unpack because obviously being a therapist myself, I understand that it's a life journey, trying to even understand what happened to you to then move on to having compassion for yourself, then having compassion to your abusers. Did you ever get to the place of having compassion towards your abuser?
No.
Because you had 2
No.
or more actually, because I would say as well, understanding trauma, that your mom also abused you
And
psychologically
grandmother.
and grandmother.
And Greg.
So you went through a lot of abuse, not just physically, but emotionally. There was a lot of rejection there that you're still dealing with, abandonment. There is a lot of self-hatred that you had to deal with. So
In terms of forgiveness, in order to release myself from all of that, I forgave myself.
I love that.
I forgave myself for feeling the way I felt.
I love that.
I forgave myself for my abusers.
Yeah.
I forgave myself to give me peace.
Free yourself with the shame.
Free myself. I freed
How do you
myself.
feel about the abusers now? If you don't forgive them, you hate them.
I don't forgive them, but I forgive myself, and I'm meaning that my life can move on
Yeah.
because I've forgiven myself. They have to live with what they've done.
Yeah.
Do you hate them?
I don't have hatred.
Do you
I
despise
don't have
them?
hatred. I don't despise them.
What feeling do you have towards them?
I don't have anything. I negate it. I take it away. I don't have anything. As a child who grew up in a Christian home, yeah, let God be the judge and the jury to them. Simple.
Well, I'm glad you just mentioned that. Sorry, because I know I've been told at the time we've got to wrap up shortly, yeah. And you know I could talk all day because there's a lot to say and it's hard to get it all out.
Yeah.
However, you know, like some people's coping mechanisms for even lighter subjects in this, drugs, alcohol. Some even go bury their head in religion. You know, I haven't heard you mention religion. Or
No, okay. So I believe in the Creator. I believe in the universe. I'm spiritual.
Okay.
Religion has too much attachments to it for me.
Wrong, isn't it?
So I believe in my Creator because I know I came for a reason and I came for a purpose, and the universe has been always aligned with me. It's just I didn't see, and now I am woke. I feel my spiritual journey riding alongside me. But what I do practice is Stoicism.
What's that mean?
So Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy of today's cognitive behavior therapy.
Yeah.
So it's centuries old and it deals with the present. So we have got a past and we do have a future. Not many roads ahead for what we know, but you live in today. What's happening now, what you choose to do with now. It's the serenity.
And that's what we have with this breath.
Is this breath?
That's all.
You've only got one shot. You know, I do say if there was a reincarnation, I'd like to come back like my cat because he's spoiled.
He's living the best
He's
life,
living
right?
his best life, but we don't know if we're going to have that. But I'm just putting it out there that
Yeah, I
if
believe
it does, I want to be like Idris. Okay,
Say his name.
it's Idris Elba Brooks. Yeah,
Is it?
that's his
I
name.
love
He's a
that.
rescue cat, and he came to us with the name Idris. So
I love
we just
Idris.
added the rest. Yeah.
Shout out to Idris.
Yeah, shout out to my fluffy. He's such a lovely cat. Anyway, so yes, so I deal with now because nobody's promised tomorrow. But what I've done is I've taken all my 50 plus years from behind me, I've amalgamated it and squashed it, and then I'm going to move forward with it. And so I choose to be free from everything behind me to now to move forward.
I let it hold you back.
Nothing. Well, it didn't anyway,
Exactly.
but it could have been better, and hence why I said the younger women or men
That's why you're there for them.
can get this out of them. They can live a better, fruitful life.
Can we wrap it up?
I was gonna say before we wrap it up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I was gonna say.
Couple of a question.
You got some
I think
questions?
most of it was answered. I wanted to know what made you get into like your solicitor job. Was it like stemmed from what you'd experienced?
I could have got into it earlier, but what had happened, as I said, my career advisor, because I went to them saying, I want to do law. Like, no, you can't do law, right? So I was 23 when I had Denise. I was 23, and then by 24, I'd gone into doing my college access to law and then followed it through there. But I struggled. So it took me 5 years to do my degree, then 3, because I kept failing. Because I wasn't the brightest spark, because I'd already told myself and talked myself that I wasn't the brightest spark. Whereas realistically, yes, I was.
Absolutely.
So, but determination made me go on. So I qualified when I was 34. So I should have qualified by 24. So you can understand that delayed reactions of other people not supporting me and giving me that push from the get-go. My middle daughter, she's 19 and she's gone to uni.
Yeah.
That would have been me, so I'm so proud and, elated that I've managed to plant that seed that my children can go on and do what encouragement. Didn't have that. Yeah.
But you still smashed it up.
I did. I'm not gonna lie.
You still killed it. All the things you did.
You said your sister, who you separated from a young age, has chosen not to engage with you in the family.
Yeah.
how do you navigate the grief of that fractured relationship? And if you could say anything to your sister, if she was watching now, what would you say to her?
Okay, right. So I decided to detach myself from her when I was in my 40s because she did come back to the UK again, and she met with my mum and they talked, and mum showed her pictures of me and my family. And she just says, what a lovely family. But she's never come back and said, you know, I'm not even expecting a sorry. But if she had even come back and said that she was sorry, I don't think I would change how I feel towards her, because it's a lifetime away. And as a child, you're innocent. And so she has to live with that, what she decided to separate. And if it works for her and it's for her own well-being, I can't fault her for that. But for me, I made my peace like nearly 20 years ago.
So do you have empathy for her psychology behind why she's doing what she's doing? Because obviously you've...
I don't call it empathy. I get it, but I don't call it empathy.
You accept it.
I accept that what she feels is for her to do. At the time as a child, I was very, very angry. But as an adult, I don't feel that anger, and I don't feel the love, and I don't feel the loss. And then on top of all of that, we've just found out last year we have another sister who's 20 years older than I. So the cycle continues. So you know what I say? I just give myself peace.
Amen. And hopefully they'll find your book and read it. Amen.
Actually, I've got one more. I wasn't asked this one. So I probably got two, but I wasn't asked this one. I might ask you one afterwards. Like when me was speaking, you spoke about a ring of truth, and how your story remains consistent, Have you been challenged by any of your family members as to the story?
No.
No? So they will accept it as the truth?
Yeah, as I said, it was only like my two younger sisters when I talked about how they came to be and me not having that connection with them. But it wasn't mainly that, it was about who was their parent. And I think because they have children as well, they don't want their children to hear or know the truth. And I respect that. But my for me, I was once that child as well. And it sometimes is more damaging not to talk your truth. So I'm not their parent, so it's not for me to say. And I've taken until now to tell my children my story through my book. So, you know, it's one of them ones. I'm just thankful I've had the opportunity to be woke, to forgive, and to love.
You know, I asked you this before, and you said no, right?
Yeah.
And I believe you.
I know you're going to ask me, I know, and I'm going to say no still.
You're going to still say
Yeah.
But how do you reconcile that feeling of how you once felt with him, right? After everything that he was, and also bearing in mind he actually never did anything to you directly. So I'll tell. When I was in the home, in the second home, you have to call your carers, auntie and uncle, and I don't know what they said or what had happened, but I stood in the foyer like Mighty Mouse. When my dad comes, he's gonna have all of you. But I didn't recall it. So, but I did send for my social services record, and it was on the record. It was on the record of me having this outburst, and all of a sudden I was transported to that time. That's amazing.
And so I thought, he's my hero because he's gonna get and he's gonna bring me home. You know what I mean? Because that's the only home I knew. I didn't even know my mum or my nan at that point. And when all of this is said and done, I still will hold on to that memory of my father being my hero at that point. But in adult life, he has a chapter that it's not good, it's ugly. And that's how I saw him in the end. But I will still hold on to that for my childhood because I deserve to have some form of happiness.
Well done, seriously.
Of course. Okay, before we close, I've got two questions.
Okay.
Can you explain your tattoo on your wrist?
Right, I can indeed. One of seven.
The other one, sorry.
So this one says, Tan, Tai, Tay. These are all my girls.
Okay.
That's their pet names I give
I
them.
didn't see that one.
Yeah. And this one is the Christian sign.
Okay.
It's the fish.
Oh,
So you are
yeah,
Christian.
yeah.
I was born and raised into Christian home, didn't I? So, yeah. And here, and I've got a fish with a steak in it on my foot. So I have been very religious before, but now I am spiritual,
Yeah, I'm the
and
same.
I'm just connecting just myself
To the source.
to the source.
Without any
I'm not.
interference by
I'm
any
not doing it
buildings.
collectively, so I'm not imposing nothing on anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just filtering through what has got me through.
But you still have a connection with the divine. That's all that matters.
That's right. With all the elements, it's
We
there.
can't run away from that.
No.
We have our own ways to do
And my
it.
final question, it's it might not be associated with anything,
Yeah.
but the go-to, what part of your life did you get that?
So yeah. Gangster. The ghetto. You can take the girl from the country, but you can't take the country from the girl. So as I said,
How old was you?
when I had this done, oh God, in my early 20s.
Okay.
I think before I had my daughters. Yeah. I was a rebel. So I had two roads. Yeah, was. I had two roads.
You could have gone down.
I could have gone down, to put it that way.
So true.
Yeah. And when you live a certain way, a certain style, certain things you accommodate with you for your fashion, your clique,
Yeah.
that was me. But then, as I said, when I decided that, you know what, someone did take interest in me and did give me plant that seed to say, you can do this.
So much more than
Yeah, you're much more than this.
Yeah.
I took the seed and I planted it, and then that meant I
Can you
was
say
at
that
a
person
crossroad.
was? Can you say that
She said
person was?
already.
The person that planted the
Passed
seed?
away.
She passed away. She was my line manager.
Oh, yeah,
She was my line manager.
You got the line manager?
Yeah, she's in the book. She's in the book. She's in the book,
Yeah.
and she's also godmother to my eldest child.
Okay.
Even when I finished, she always used to call me up and said, "Where you are on your journey, G?" I said, "Oh, I'm still studying." She said, "Keep going, girl." And then she said, "Oh, by the way, I've got your daughter's presents and stuff. Every Easter, every Christmas, every birthday." She called me, and then passed away. She sadly passed away. Oh God, 2008, I'd say. 2006 or 2008. 2006. But yeah, she was such a lovely lady. Lovely lady. She saw me, and
That's big.
that
You
sometimes.
need those people in it.
Yeah.
They're just there for a season, aren't they?
Yeah, then they go on their way.
They have a massive effect in it. That
Yeah.
knows, huh?
Yeah.
Kind of just quickly in line to the journey you made.
Yeah, well, that's where the universe aligns them to you
Always.
when you're coming off track.
Yeah, they
It
bring
brings
someone
someone
in.
divine
Lots of
intervention.
those.
what it
It's a
is.
thing, 100% a thing. Can I ask my last question? Is that
Please
okay?
do.
Is that okay? Obviously, with the inner child healing stuff, the question that I have for you is, I know that you wrote a letter to your inner child, okay? But if that version of yourself was present today, what would she say about her story, about who she is, and what does she want to leave behind for young girls her age? The version of you that went through abuse,
Okay.
what would she say to
When
her?
I grow up, I want to be a lawyer. That's what she said. And that you must follow your dreams.
Yeah,
Let no man, no beast deter you from it.
okay.
Fight for what is rightfully yours.
Is that what you would say to her as well now?
Well, that's what I did.
Okay.
Well, that's
Beautiful. And I think that's a nice segment to, bring it to a close
Thank
for
you.
now.
Is there anything you want to say to anyone out there? Or just about the whole journey yourself before we close? We've asked you
Okay.
questions. Is there a
Okay.
question you're asking yourself?
Question to myself: where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years' time? I see myself on a platform talking to many women at a conference,
Speaking.
empowering them, liberating them, and giving them hope for the future.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
if that's what you see, that's what has to happen.
That's already
It's a
happened.
start, innit? It's a beginning, right?
Where
Like,
the man goes, the body
man,
is the
there you
follow.
go. Amen.
I see it and I pray. And I know, obviously, that we not religious people. I'm a spiritual person too. I had my journey with Christianity, but I still believe in the power of prayer.
Yes.
Everything that we speak into existence
Yes.
is so. And this space, for me personally, has been a spiritual journey. Even being here, I think that is what God called me to do in this space.
Yes.
And I feel that we need to bless it. Everything that
Yes,
comes here
I
is a
agree.
blessing. Every person that comes here, we bless it and we leave it and we open the
Thank
space for the
you.
next one. And it's been a blessing having you here because it's opened a path to open a conversation that is uncomfortable. And you did that with so much grace, so much beauty. So can we end in prayer and just
Please do.
yeah. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this beautiful conversation that we had here today, for creating this space, the big combos with Kamala, with Manny, myself, and bringing Jeannie here today to just open her vocal cords, Lord, to create hope for young women, even young men who's been going through these traumatic experiences and feel so much shame to even open their mouth to be able to speak that truth, Lord. God, I ask that you give them the courage to step forward with this story that I just heard here today, to open their mouth, to ask for help, to even open a book, to understand what trauma is, to understand what's happening in their life, so that they can become free from the cycles that they are trapped in, Lord. Thank you so much for this space. Thank you so much for this beautiful woman that you brought into our presence. I ask that you take all of us home today with grace and love and light, that we continue to do this work. In mighty Jesus' name, because I believe in Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yes, as I said, we're here at a close. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want you to guys continue this conversation in the comments. You know, you've heard about the walk and talk. We'll get you details and we'll put it in the link below.
Got a question to the guys as well out there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If you can like this 1,000 times, I think Jeannie's gonna give us the question that no one's ever asked her before.
It's the questions, but I don't want to.
I've got like 20, but it's just long now. But yeah, well, you know,
But yes.
yeah.
You know what? And maybe we wasn't meant to get that question today.
Today, maybe, you know.
But it's
Yeah, it's true, you know.
Maybe.
You know,
That's true, you know.
That would be
Obviously,
nice.
there's more to
Exactly. I don't believe we've covered everything. So
No.
There's a lot
you
to
know,
discuss.
and as your journey progresses, you might bring out another book. You may wanna.
Maybe there's
you know,
a sequel coming.
Exactly. So let's watch this space. But until then, please, you know what we need for them algorithms. Like, share, subscribe, and keep those comments coming in.
I like
We want to continue this conversation in the comments. So it's goodbye from Manny. Goodbye from Marilia. Goodbye from our special guest today, Jeannie. Our lovely team, and Billy and Emma, always coming here to, you know,
Set it up.
set it up and really, you know, make
Put
this
it in
show
there today. I think you've really smashed it today, guys.
Yeah,
Give
well
it an
done.
extra mile, I think. Putting them prize to work there, Billy. I was trying to say cross my legs. Like that.
100%.
Well,
Anyway,
lad.
thank you for watching. Take care. Until next time.
But
Laters,
Au revoir.